Alright, y'all, so this is going to be part one of my helpful tips I'm going to be giving you guys to help you PvP better on controller. Okay, I started PvPing in this game about 2 days ago, and right now I can gracefully say that I can get up to 200 elo. Now that is not a freaking, it's not a good achievement, but I mean it's something. All right, for someone who just started PvPing 2 days ago on a controller, I think that's pretty good myself. I ain't gonna lie. But today I'm just gonna be showcasing my keybind customization, okay, just for you guys to see, all right, because a lot of you guys were asking me in my live, all right. So if you're new, like, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Let's get into it. Alright, so the first step I used to customize my keybinds to make it easier for me was that I actually customized my actual controller keybinds on my console, okay? I don't know how you do it on Xbox, but if you go to your settings on PlayStation 5, you go to your accessories, you click on the controller tab, you're gonna find somewhere where it's gonna direct you into where you're able to customize your controller controls. Okay, now as you can see from my screen, this is basically what I did for my controller keybinds right here. As much as I like the new type of keybinds, one major thing I didn't like about it was that the way you use your skills, the way you M1 and all that stuff, it requires you to take your hand off of your right stick. Okay, now if you don't know, this game requires you to be really good at aiming. All right, I think any of the games on Roblox require you to be good at aiming, and since they did not provide us with lock on in this game, you know what I'm saying, it kind of just, it makes it harder to be able to use skills in this game. Okay, but the way I customize my keybinds, I customize in a way where I don't have to take my hand off of my right stick all the time, especially for my major skills, the major moves that I'm going to be using on the game. I prioritize not taking my hand off of my right stick so much. Now I do have some keybinds where I have to still take my hand off of my right stick, but I was still able to customize some to where I'm able to not take my hand off of my right stick. Okay, so if you're a dev watching this, all right, this is the way that I'm pretty sure majority of console players would like it to be. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're not gonna add lock on, you know what I'm saying, you have to make keybinds where, you know, you're not gonna have to take your hand off of the right stick, as you guys are seeing on the screen right now. As you can see, I switched my M1 to R2, all right, because R2 is just better for M1. I don't know why they put it in square, but R2 is just better for M1. Okay, and then my R1 is blocking. Okay, as you can see, circle is originally to block with the new type of keybinds, but I put it in R1 because, you know what I'm saying, I also want to be able to look around while I'm parrying and blocking, because you don't want to be taking your hand off the right stick, because everybody just be dashing around and just dashing behind you and stuff like that. You guys are gonna see the way it is when I showcase the PvP gameplay shortly. Okay, and then as you can see, R2 is my modifier, and then triangle is my crit. As you can see right here, I switched my crit from, you know, triangle to L1, as you can see right here. Also, switching my square, triangle, and circle into my back buttons not only helps me to be able to M1 block and use my crit while looking around, but also when I use my R2 modifier, I'm able to also, you know, it also makes it easier to use my skills without taking my hand off of my right stick. Okay, because you know the way people on controller play, you know what I'm saying, when you're using your back buttons, you can still hold your right stick while you're using your back buttons. Okay, now the only one I did not switch was my X, because I'm already used to using X to jump and stuff like that, and I really could not, you know, like, customize it very well, because Roblox has it locked to jump, so you can't really switch the keybinds that much. There are 4 controls on the controller that don't really do anything in the game right now, and that's L1, R1, your left D-pad, and your right D-pad. Okay, those 4 right there don't really do anything. Now this is where it starts to get interesting. I switched my up D-pad, all right, and put it where triangle was, as you can see. Now if you don't know, up D-pad and down D-pad is basically what you use to open your dial. Okay, so since I don't really use this in combat, I switched it with triangle, and then switched down D-pad with square. Okay, and as you can see right here, I have L2 as my down D-pad, I have R1 as my right D-pad, I have L1 as my up D-pad, and I have left D-pad as my, you know, left D-pad. That's basically what I did right there. Now this type of setting may not work for everybody. I do not recommend you copy this, you know, 100%, but if you've been struggling, this might be what you're looking to do. You know what I'm saying, like, I'm just giving you guys an idea of what you want to do for your controller keybinds. Okay, I know I was yapping about this, but I had to break it down so you guys can understand why I did most of these keybinds the way I did. All right, so that's basically what I touched with my controller controls. And then let's get into the in-game. So I'm going to show you guys what I did with the in-game keybinds. Okay, so when you are done with the controller controls customization on your console, your keybind should look something like this. Okay, so that is the way it's going to look. Okay, I'm gonna put that at the side of the screen so you guys can see it, so that as I'm talking about the keybind customization I did in game, you guys are gonna know what I'm talking about. Okay, so if you go to the keybind customizations right now, since I have all my d-pads as basically keybinds that don't really do anything, the only one that I think that does something in its base form is L2, but since I have auto run on, L2 is basically useless right now. So all these keybinds I have set in my d-pad don't do anything in their base form, okay, without any modifiers or without anything. All right, so I'm able to use that as my 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so that means I don't need to use the second modifier, because I could just easily press up d-pad, right d-pad, down d-pad, left d-pad, you know, to be able to use my 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, not only does this make these easier, but it also reduces the amount of modifiers I have to use. Okay, because one thing I also didn't like about the keybinds, okay, not that it was a problem, but I just didn't like it because you had to press R2 before you use another modifier, and then press R2, and I'll say it was just a lot of headache. Okay, but this way makes it a lot easier and just reduces the amount of modifiers you have to use. But the third modifier, I still use that for my 9, 0, minus, and plus. And as you can see from the keybinds I'm showing on the side of the screen, you're gonna see that the same way you use the 1, 2, 3, 4 is the same way you're gonna use the 9, 0, minus, and plus. The only difference is that you're going to have to hold R2 and then right d-pad, which is now my R1. Okay, you know, R1, if you hold R1, that brings out the third modifier, and then that way I am able to use 9, 0, minus, and plus. Now that's basically it that I did for the keybinds. Don't worry too much about this one. This one is just a personal preference of mine. For clan special, okay, this one is the one I don't really know how to use. I have this set to L3 because I switched my L3 to a different keybind. You can switch it to circle. You can switch it to the keybind except for circle. You can switch it to left d-pad. All right, that's the one I put in circle. You guys are gonna see what I'm talking about right there on the screen. You can switch that to circle because right d-pad doesn't do anything in its base form. On this base form, you can use right d-pad to activate your clan skills. Okay, so that is basically going to do it. Again, this picture right here that I drew is basically what it's going to look like when you customize everything and just change everything around and whatnot. Okay, so the only problem with this keybind setting that I did is that you're not able to use your Bankai skills. Okay, if you don't know, to be able to use your Bankai skills, you have to hold R2 and then L2 together, and then up d-pad, right d-pad, or left d-pad. Okay, but since I have my L2 set as floating strikes, which is my, I think I have L2 set as my 7, for some reason I'm not able to use the modifier on there. Okay, I'm still able to use the modifier for R1, okay, which is the modifier 3, but for some reason I've not been able to use the modifier for L2. Okay, but like I said, this is something that you guys are gonna have to figure out yourself. You don't have to copy mine exactly, you know what I'm saying. I usually play ranked, so using Bankai skills is not really a problem for me. And for shrifts, I don't play Quincy, so it's not a, I don't need to play Quincy, so it's really not a problem for me. But if you play Quincy, this is something that you guys are gonna have to just go in there and tweak yourself, you know what I'm saying. Like, I'm just providing you guys with the idea, like basically like a template, so you guys can go inside there and figure out what works best for you, because at the end of the day, everybody is not gonna play the same, you know what I'm saying. That's why I want the devs to, or I want more devs to start adding ways to customize your keybinds in game, because not every controller player plays the same. Even PC players customize their keybinds in the game. So yeah, that's gonna do it for today's video. I know I yapped a lot, but I hope this video was helpful to you guys. If you guys have any questions, put it down in the comments. I will be dropping more helpful videos for you guys in the future, so you guys can get better at this game, especially in PvP. But if you're new, like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and I'll catch you guys next video. Peace. Peace. Finally, oh, bro, seriously, what is it with these people and just jumping me without even letting me freaking play, bro? Bro, I can't. Come on now. This nigga still lost. He's still lost. God, you're so buns, bro. You are so buns. Holy. This guy was smoking me in attack and still lost. God, you're so freaking buns, bro. Get off my freaking peach or freaking court or whatever the heck it is, bro. Oh my God.